So the experiment goes as follows. You take cancer cells that are riddled with all the genetic mutations that lead to cancer and aggressive cancer. You take human cancer cells. I believe it was melanoma in the particular experiment I have in my mind right now. And you implant it in a frog. And of course, the cancer takes hold and multiplies and eventually kills the frog. What Michael realized is that if he controls the biochemical field that surrounds the cells, a field that seems to give the body a cue about the body plan, which is a global field. It's not only local chemical signaling. There is a bioelectrical field that seems to coordinate morphogenesis, coordinate how cells grow, so they know where they are and what they should do and what they should look like given the place where they are. So cells in the frog's arms are arm cells, and cells in the frog's lungs are lung cells. So this bioelectric field seems to coordinate that. And what Michael did is taking this as a hypothesis, the bioelectric field coordinates growth. What will it do if I force the correct bioelectric field in the organism in which I just implanted cancer cells? Lo and behold, the cancer doesn't grow, regardless of these terrible genetic mutations that otherwise would correlate with very aggressive cancer. I believe the frog in question is still alive. You don't need to keep on forcing that bioelectric field 24/7. You apply the treatment and the tumor comports itself.
When we talk about a bioelectric field, right, what we're talking about is the method of transmission for all, cells, right, for neurons, for the nervous system, is through a series of electrical signals. It's voltage, literally. Voltage changes, and that releases the opening of certain channels that allow ions to flow in different directions. Everything that you're experiencing is actually from electrical signals that are being sent down axons and dendrites, which, if you've heard of multiple sclerosis, it's that myelinated sheath that in multiple sclerosis, the signals can't get through, right? That's the signals we're talking about.
The wire insulation goes bad.
Correct. Yeah. So we're, that's the network. So what this kind of experiment is talking about is if you manipulate the biological environment and the proportion or the distribution of signaling, you are changing the milieu, as it were. You're changing an electrical environment that has an impact on then what signaling is occurring or not. So it's a very intricate, and he didn't just do it with cancer. So this is something that can be done with growth of limbs, regeneration. And, I don't know. I think the question that Jonathan also wants you to sort of tackle is how much can we extrapolate this out? Jonathan, has history of working in energy and across fields that we cannot see, but many people experience. Can we extrapolate this out more from a philosophical perspective to say there is an extension, right? I mean, Neil Thies talks about this with the fascia of the body and with the microbiome, right, that we share, right? When I live in a house with you, we share something special as organisms that other people don't. What does this say for a larger understanding of our experience?
So, of course, the temptation is to say, well, it's just local electrical signaling, it's we know that, we understand that, and then there's nothing extraordinary here. But let me give you another study that Michael performed 12 years ago in 2013. He took some planaria, which are these little aquatic flatworms. They have a small brain, and their entire nervous system is in their head. They have 2 eyes and a tail, and then they know how to navigate water. So Michael put them in an aquarium and trained them to navigate a sort of a maze in the substrates to find food. And it took a while, but they learned. So they had to navigate a sort of a maze in the substrate of the aquarium to find food. And eventually they learned how to navigate that maze, so they could find food much faster than first time around. They learned how to get to where the food is. And then what Michael then proceeded to do was to decapitate them all. And planaria have this amazing feature. If you cut off any part of their bodies, they grow a new one, including their heads. So here are these planaria that have learned, they are trained.
So if you cut off the head and you grow back the head, the question is, will they still know how to navigate the maze?
Yeah, and they take 2 weeks to grow a new head, and lo and behold, they go straight for the food.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So even though all their neurons are in their heads, and all neurons were dissected when they were decapitated, they grow a new one, they still remember. So, okay, now give me an account of that in terms of local, electrochemical impulses.
Well, I mean, I was instantly thinking, if you tell me to stop dating people who are emotionally unavailable, and I say I never want to experience this pain again, when presented with an emotionally unavailable person, I will gravitate towards that person like a planaria that's been decapitated.
There you go. Multiple instances of the principle at hand here. Look, this was published in a respected peer-reviewed journal in 2013 by a group at Tufts University, which is very respected. Michael Levin, very respected. Why aren't people talking about this? Right? But here you go. So the hypothesis here is that this field effect, it's not only about morphogenesis, it's also about memory. It's about mind. And mind seems to permeate everything, and mind seems to be field-like. And it has applications in remembering stuff when your head is cut off and controlling the non-growth of cancer, or not allowing mere genetic mutations from developing into an actual cancer. And it also shows that cancer is not only about genetic mutations. It's not only that, if you knock off the wrong base pair somewhere in our cell, now you're condemned to cancer. No, because these base pairs are knocked